guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going over an article titled 7 Reasons Why Nice Guys Finish First. And this article, which is most certainly a BS article, is written by a woman who's trying to convince the male readers that essentially, unlike the line that everybody knows, nice guys finish last, in her view, she's trying to convince men that nice guys actually finish first with regards to romantic relationships, attractions, all that when it comes to obviously women. And that couldn't be any further from the truth. And I've done, I think, a couple videos relating to this type of subject where a gal writes an article and tries to convince men of this, and I see this and I strike it down real quick to let you know it's BS. And so it's a very good, important refresher for you guys, particularly you guys that do relationships, and let's be honest, a lot of you do, because no, with regards to romantic relationships, nice guys do not finish last. The only way a nice guy nice guys do not finish first. The only way a guy who's a nice guy, and I'm going to get into that in a moment to make the distinction and break that down, will finish first is if he eventually starts taking on some traits that can be associated with the bad boys in terms of he starts putting himself first, he stops taking crap, he stands up for himself, things like that. But your typical nice guy that doesn't do any of that type of stuff in terms of he puts everybody else first, he doesn't stand up for himself when he's being disrespected, amongst many other things, no, those guys are never going to finish first. And when it comes to romantic relationships, I've said this time and time again. For you younger guys that are in your teens, the high school range or college, early 20s, unfortunately for guys, most guys, by and large, are the low men on the totem pole. Okay? You're not going to be the top choice for the majority of the girls out there. They're looking for a small percentage of the guys, and they all want a piece of them. The top guys, whether it be the bad boys, the popular guys, the high-value guys at the time. Only when guys get older, either because they've gotten older and maybe they're out of college, they've gotten a job, they have some resources, then that's when some women start paying attention to them because a lot of those girls are ready to settle down. So they're looking for a nice guy who is a sure thing. And for those typical guys, finally they're getting attention. They're thinking like, awesome, I'm finally getting the girl, just like the movie said, yay. Well, no. She's just settling because she got tired of the bad boys who she knows darn well it's not going to go anywhere with them. She would love to get those bad boys to settle. That'd be the dream come true. But it doesn't work that way because those guys are always going to be the bad boys and they don't settle. And often, and this is obviously a very real thing, a lot of them really don't go anywhere in life. A lot of them end up having crap jobs, not a whole lot of money, and they're not the type that are stable in that regard to have a family and all that. So they choose the nice guy, okay? And they think they got it made. But the truth is, that girl never loses her attraction for the bad boy, okay? She still always desires that type of guy. And sadly, many cheat, okay? How many stories have I done? How many articles have I done? How many stories from you guys that sent in when this happens, right? And then they get the nice guy, and they get the house in the suburbs and the 2.5 kids and the white picket fence, and eventually they start getting bored. Okay? And a lot will step out. That doesn't mean they all do it, but a lot do. Okay? And they try to have their cake and eat it too. And this guy sometimes even knows what's going on, but he's too weak to do anything. And he's treated like crap and all that. So believe me, nice guys don't win in the end. Okay? So this is a complete nonsense. And so I really want to hammer this in to make sure guys understand this. Okay? The only way, again, like I said, a nice guy can come out on top is if he starts developing certain qualities, assertive qualities that can have him that he actually has some respect for himself. So the trick is to find the sweet spot, the happy medium between the nice guy, who's a good guy, don't get me wrong, and the bad boy. Okay? He's not a lowlife like the bad boys. He's not walking around unemployed, because how many times have you heard stories or known guys that were the typical bad boy types that were broke, that were always usually had a criminal record, probably lived at home with their mom and dad, things like that, and yet they could still get girls. It's amazing. And they're total lowlives. And often they're intoxicated or on drugs and stuff like that. They still get the girls. Right? It's unbelievable. But it is what it is. So anyhow, I'm going to go through this, guys. I'm going to pick apart this stuff she talks about just because I want to make sure some of you guys understand this. Don't make the mistake of buying into this BS, because otherwise you'll be one of those guys that thinks, oh, I'm finally getting the girl. No, because as I said before, she's never going to look at you the same as the bad boy. She's not going to treat you the same, and she sure as hell will never F you the same. Okay? The bedroom treatment, you get the bare minimum. How do I know? How many stories have I done about that? Okay. So this article starts. There's always been debate between nice guys and bad boys. For some reason, women feel a sense of thrill of the unknown when it comes to instability of a bad boy. On the other hand, nice guys often get the reputation as a floor mat with a weak backbone. Well, that's beyond a reputation. That's usually how it goes. Because nice guys usually don't stand up to the girls. They don't, when they're being mistreated. And they are a doormat. They walk all over them. Can't be that way, guys. So in the long term, after the drama of high school, hierarchy of college, and the politics of the work world, which guys win? Explore this question by taking a look at 7 reasons nice guys actually end up the champion. Bullshit, honey. Doesn't work that way. Number 1, the bad burns out. Accomplishing short-term goals often involves using people and discarding them just as fast. But long-term goals require sustained effort. Long-term relationships require a level of trust beyond what's naturally extended to a stranger. The bad boy, aka jerk, can pick up a lot more dates than the nice guy because they're typically unpredictable and dominant, which girls are initially intrigued by. Initially? All girls are intrigued by guys that are unpredictable, hard to figure out, and all that. It doesn't mean they're necessarily going to get involved with them, but they're definitely intrigued and attracted. And of course, when she says dominant, means obviously a leader, take charge. These are good qualities to have, which typical nice guys do not have. Nice guys are as predictable as the sun rising in the east and setting in the west. Okay, therefore they're boring. Bad boys, extremely unpredictable. They never know what they're going to do next. So for you dating a relationship, guys, start adding that into how you handle things with the dates. You'll be amazed how quickly things can get interesting for you in a good way. However, this is only an initial attraction. If you don't become the nice guy fairly quickly, your long-term odds of success are pretty limited. Bad boys are only fun for so long, so it's up to the guy to make the move to Niceville before the woman grows tired of waiting for maturity, true confidence, and sustainability in her man. Let me tell you something right now. The woman is never going to get bored of her attraction for the bad guy who's unpredictable and all those things. Let me make that abundantly clear. And this whole thing like, oh, you better start becoming the nice guy, that's often what turns them off by being that nice guy type, the doormat, the pushover, the easy, predictable, all that. Trick is you be a good man, and you obviously go for success and have resources and do well for yourself, chasing your goals, chasing excellence, if you will, ambitious, but you stand up for yourself when you're being disrespected. You don't put the girl as a top priority in your life. She's dead last. Okay? Doesn't mean you're mean, but your purpose is number 1. And so on and so forth, many things I talk about here. But typical nice guy will never do that. They put up with crap. They're fearful of losing her, so they figure, I got to do everything she says and everything she wants to make her happy. And it just turns her off more. It's screwed up, I get it, but that's how it is. Number 2, muscles fade. Sure, when you see a good-looking, toned guy walk into the room, you might catch yourself staring in awe. However, a recent study at UCLA found that women really are drawn to muscles, at least in the short term. The idea that muscles in human males are similar to the elaborate tail feathers of male peacocks that are used to impress the females. The study found that muscular men also tend to have more sexual partners due to the fact that women tend to choose buff guys as their one-night stands and short-term flings. Well, no shit. I've yet met a girl ever who wasn't... I never met a girl who wasn't attracted to do with some muscles. Now, it could be up for debate between gigantic bodybuilder muscles or just a fit guy with a 4 to 6 pack going. Or just even just a fit guy. It doesn't even necessarily have to have the rippling abdomen, which is rare. But girls like muscles. And guess what? Whether it's short-term or long-term relationships. The study found that muscular men also have more of those partners, blah, blah, blah. When it comes to relationships, women prefer the less brawny dudes to the super buff ones. Of course, there are certain exceptions to this rule, and yes, some nice guys are buff too. But guys who spend more time at the gym, staring at themselves, sweating in the mirror, instead of at home with their wife, could be considered less of a nice guy and more, let's say, conceited. Well, there's this BS thing going out there, but it's been going for a few years. trying to convince guys that, according to studies, women prefer men with dad bods. Okay, essentially out-of-shape guys that tend to have beer bellies, the saggy man boobs, that type of thing. That's the claim. They actually prefer that. But if you dig into the psychology of it, actually what it really is, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion, is this: as that guys that look like that are less physically appealing, okay, they have the saggy man boobs and the beer belly and all that, it's simply the women prefer them in relationships because those guys are less physically appealing to other women and therefore will have less options to potentially cheat or to have women come try to steal them away. Meanwhile, if they're involved with a guy that was in really good shape, the woman's a little more nervous that he could have more women interested in him and therefore making her her situation, making her insecure and bringing potential instability into the relationship. You see what I'm getting at here? So this idea they're trying to make that they choose those guys, and therefore for you nice guys, if you just want to, it's okay, you don't need to work out, or if you got that dad bod, then you're fine, no big deal. I've never seen a woman ever in my entire life be like, oh, look at that guy, look at those saggy man boobs, look at that beer belly. No, they're turned off by it, but they end up settling for that because, number one, probably their father kind of looked like that, so that's what they're familiar with, because there's that whole daddy element into it, and also making them feel safe and having the upper hand. They have the upper hand if they are more visually appealing to the opposite sex than the guy, so keep that in mind. Number 3, nice does not always equal pushover. The definition of a nice guy might not be what you'd expect. A nice guy does not mean he's a pushover, doormat, or weak person. A nice guy simply means he doesn't play games. He's confident and consistent with himself, and he's a strong core value and morals. Since when did a nice guy get a bad reputation? And when did bad become the desired quality of a mate? Listen to your intuition and then ask yourself if bad is really the right choice. All right, the part she said here about nice guys mean he doesn't play games, he's confident and consistent with himself. Your typical nice guy, which is the guys that the gals don't want, they usually are the ones that deal with all the games that the gals put them through, and they put up with it. So I don't want to hear that your typical nice guy, the typical vanilla nice guy, isn't going to play games. Yes, he does. He may not like them, but he's going to end up playing whether he wants to or not. He's not the typical guy that stands up for himself as or cuts the girl off. Guys that have value, guys that typically high value guys or the bad boy category, they don't play. They're the ones that initiate the games, but they don't tolerate them from the women. Okay, and yeah, it doesn't. Most guys that also are nice guys are in fact sadly pushovers and doormats. It is what it is. Okay, I'm trying to get guys to be good men, but have some qualities that the bad boys have, therefore they're not pushed over, taken advantage of. Because I don't want anybody walking around, I don't want you to leave this video and start going around just being a jerk to people and starting arguments and starting fights. No way. Be the good man, but you don't, take any crap from anybody and you put yourself and your priorities first. You're not a pushover. That's it. Number 4, successful future. A nice guy can be described as a people person and often as a skilled communicator. This skill should not be overlooked and will help in job interviews and workplace meetings. Therefore, people are attracted to nice guys and are more likely to assist and help them succeed. Bad guys don't last long in the corporate world, and like to the point mentioned before, any success will make it be short-lived. A foundation built on sand will eventually crumble, but a foundation built on cement will last forever. Yeah, well, I've known, and I'm sure many of you guys have had a lot of guys that could be in the bad boy category that did very well for themselves, depending on where they are in the corporate world, okay? And these are the guys that may actually have, unlike some of the stereotypical bad boys that may live at home with their mom and dad and barely hold a job working the aisle at Home Depot, which, by the way, I've known some bad boys end up literally just working as the register at Home Depot. I kid you not. But anyhow, some of these guys can actually do well for themselves and put that energy into doing well. And meanwhile, the typical nice guys don't go so far in their career because they're not as assertive, which certainly a lot of bad boys can be. So guys, again, nice guys need to learn develop to be assertive, which a lot of them are not. So that kind of crumbles that viewpoint. Sure, you can get some good guys that are nice guys that move up in the world, of course. But if they don't have the ability to be assertive, it's not going to go too far. Number 5, nice guys are attracted to nice women. Well, nice guys are attracted to all women, and unfortunately, a lot of nice guys end up with bad women taking advantage of them. Typically, the girls that go for the bad boys had their own issues to begin with. Finally, she says something I agree with. Women who end up with cheaters, more likely than not, have a history of such relationships. That is true, but also a lot of quote-unquote nice girls end up with cheaters and bad boys too, because again, attraction is what it is, and they're attracted to traits and qualities that the bad boys have, even though they know darn well that the guy's no good for them. Doesn't make a difference. Therefore, the issue lies within the women as well. In the same way, confident and independent women are more likely to pick the nice guy and look over the bad boy facade and unreliability. That's a bunch of crap. Women can tell he's a bad boy, and at the end of the day, they're going to choose the bad boy because they're more drawn to him. In their minds, they know he's no good for me. It's not going to go well. It hasn't gone well for the other girls he went out with, but for some reason, she's just drawn to that guy. And the nice guy, until the nice guy is left to pick up the pieces, which I'll get to in a moment. It says here, nice guys win in this scenario because they waste less time with the girls looking for materialistic things and short-lived satisfaction found in bad boys. Nice guys give security. Well, nice guys do give security and stability, but at the end of the day, women are attracted to, women hate uncertainty. Let me make this clear, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are well aware. They hate uncertainty, yet strangely, they're attracted to it. It makes them excited. Therefore, guys that are unpredictable and bring uncertainty to them, they're drawn to. But the nice guys bring certainty and they're turned off. So the trick is for you dating relationship guys is be that good man, but you got to bring about, you got to be unpredictable and all these other traits to keep them interested in you. Because I know all you guys are relationship guys and you obviously want to help yourselves out in that department. So I'm going to point out these little pieces of information that I've gathered through life experience over the last 44 years on this planet. Goes on, nice guys give security, which can be sniffed out by confident, stable, and goal-oriented women. However, girls seeking bad boys are often looking for lust over love and therefore blinding themselves from obvious warning signs and negative values. Well, another point that I agree with, and here we are with the sirens. Can't do a video about the sirens. Number 6, and here's the best one of all of this. Number 6, in referring to nice guys, they're there to pick up the pieces. That doesn't sound very appealing to me. Sounds like leftovers, damaged leftovers. Once a bad relationship goes sour, which it always does, women often seek out a partner with opposite qualities of their ex. Learning from their mistakes, women will use the nice guy, use the nice guy friend as a shoulder cry, and he will most likely reap the benefits of her broken past. In what universe, what world is it a benefit to any guy or any person for that matter to deal with the parts of anyone's broken past? There is no benefits to dealing with somebody's damaged or broken past. You got to be kidding me. But this is the idea they try to sell. How many times have you seen this in the movies where you have the damaged girl and that nice guy friend is always there to be the shoulder to cry on, and he eventually gets her and saves her from her damaged past and that bad boy that just treated her so badly, and he, in the end, everybody's happy and that's it, and roll the credits. Okay? No, you don't want drama in your life. You don't need a girl who's broken and you have to fix, because you're not going to fix her. Okay? A lot of guys, that goes into the whole white knight syndrome, Captain Save you know what. And how well does that work out for the guys? So no, do not buy this. Remember what I told you about women taking advice from women about other women? And remember, these types of articles are whether she gets it or not, are out there to benefit the gals when they're ready for the nice guy. So I'm going to convince nice guys, this is the mindset, that they win in the end when they all know darn well they don't. It says even a new man can come into her life and shine compared to her rusty, cheating ex. Nice guys are involved in less drama and usually have thought about their future, what they look for in a woman, and all around possesses the purest motives. Well, purest, back to the nice guy thing. So, no, you do not want to be the guy that's picking up her pieces, okay? Number 7, bad boys equal bad relationships. Well, duh. It's kind of obvious. Bad boys might have more relationships, but they certainly will not have better, stronger relationships. I don't know. I think for the bad boy, it certainly is in his favor to pretty much having the gal eating out of the palm of his hand. So don't tell me it isn't a better relationship for them. It's just not better for the girl. Just like the saying goes, quality over quantity. Bad boys might be flocked by women in college and desired in the work world, but few settle down before their nice guy counterpart. The whole time bad boys are dealing with woman after woman, nice guys sideswipe the drama and cruise down the road of success, keeping their eye on the prize of fulfilling relationships and finding quality partners. So there you go, guys. That was her way of convincing male readers, whoever stumbled upon this article, that nice guys win in the end. True, total nice guys, they do not win in the end, especially in relationships, okay? Again, they may get the girl. I'm sure you guys know plenty of nice guy types, maybe even yourself, if you're honest with yourself, get a girl. But in reality, you think she's treating you or a guy in this hypothetical situation the same way as she did the guy that she lusted for when she was younger? No. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to be fair here. There are gals when they're younger and they don't know any better, they don't have the life experience, that date guys that are bad for them because they were drawn to them and then realize, I was young, I was stupid, whatever, and move on. But regardless, that's still attraction for those types still remain. And how many times have you guys seen me do stories about these guys that find they're about to marry their girl, or they are married, and find out that in the girl's past, when she was in college, let's just say she had more than a few partners, and those partners got whatever they wanted. However, now she's married to the man to be her husband, you'd think the love of her life, and pretty much he gets the bare minimum in the sack. And he's upset by this, right? Because, like, wait a second, I'm your husband. You say you love me so much that you married me, but back in college you were doing all that with this guy, and the rest of the football team. But what about me? I'm not getting this, and this. Oh, I was different back then. No, because she settled for the nice guy. You see what I'm talking about? Amongst other things. So, best way to go about it, like I said in the beginning and throughout the video, is that, guys, you be a good man. And you know what I mean by that. But you develop assertive qualities. You're assertive for what things are important to you. You stand up for yourself when anyone, including her, especially her, if you're a relationship guy, disrespects you in any way. You call them out in the BS. You're not a doormat. You don't put them on the pedestal. You don't put everybody else's needs before you. That's a classic nice guy trait. You start putting your needs first. You start adopting these qualities, and all of a sudden you're going to be moving from the classic pushover nice guy doormat to moving more towards the bad boy. You're not going to become a bad boy, but you're right in the middle, in the sweet spot. Therefore, you get respect, but you're not a jerk, and you don't sacrifice your integrity being someone you're really not. So, hopefully that clears that up. Every once in a while, I got to do a video like this just to cover these articles to make sure that, guys, you don't fall for the BS. Whether she realizes that she's full of crap or not, that's up for debate. Because, again, a lot of gals don't know. This is why I tell you, don't take advice from women about dating, relationships, pick up, that type of thing, because a lot of them don't get it. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And, guys, if you have a great article that you found that you want me to cover, email it to me. If it definitely works, I'll do it. As well as any personal stories that you may have, email me as well, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. And also, if you are on Instagram or Locals, check me out, Strong Successful Male. Making a big push this year. Numbers are flying in. I appreciate it. Definitely get a lot more from me over on those platforms. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.